which we'll get there too. So anyway, as they have this channel and it's growing in popularity and they're peeling back the curtain even further to where now you're seeing the punishments and you're seeing them withholding food. You're seeing them rip the door off the hinges of the bedroom of one of their sons, making him sleep on a beanbag. You're seeing their child who is under 6 years old forgetting they're forgetting their lunch at school and then saying, well, there's no lunch then for you. Sorry, it's your responsibility. Like, they just kept getting more extreme as every new video was uploaded. And people took notice and they started calling it out in the comments, basically being like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this isn't parenting. This isn't regular behavioral correction. Like, what is going on here? And around that same time, Ruby got heavily involved with Jodi Hildebrandt, who Jodi was a therapist and a self-proclaimed life coach, okay? Also LDS. And Jodi claimed that she could heal marriages, that she could fix family relationships, and she could bring you into truth as long as you followed her teachings and as long as you followed her rules. So I don't know how many times have we heard that before when you're like, oh, that's something a cult leader would say, like, oh, you have to follow my teachings to be an exalted being. You have to follow my rules. I'll bring you into the light. I'll bring you into the truth. I'll bring you into, divine bliss or whatever the buzzwords are for that chosen cult. That's what Jodi did. And so long story short, things got very culty very quickly, and the whole situation ended in potentially one of the most disgusting child torment cases that we've ever seen in recent years. Truly, it's appalling. And rewatching this documentary and seeing some of that body cam footage and the photos of the wounds, it just brought me right back to when I first heard about it a couple of years ago, and it never gets easier seeing that material. I've seen it so many times, unfortunately, not only in regards to this case, but many others. And it's just so barbaric and inhumane. It never gets easier. And he thought it was his fault. He thought that all of those punishments that he had been receiving were because of his bad behavior. This neighbor, luckily, called the police immediately, although I will say it was the third house that this boy went to. And I don't know what the other neighbors were doing or if they didn't answer the door, what the hell they were thinking, but thank God this neighbor called the police and the police came in. They also had been holding her daughter, who was 9 years old at the time. I don't want to say captive, but kind of captive, more or less. When they went inside the house, she was sitting by herself inside a closet, also extremely malnourished, shaved head as well. Again, I have playlist after playlist. I will link it in the show notes for you. Actually, I will link just like the single deep dive episode to tell you all about the crime itself of what happened with these children. But I know the majority of you probably are familiar in some sort of way, or maybe you're here because you watched the documentary, so you do have at least some sort of understanding of the backstory. But again, I want to talk more about Jodi, who masterminded this entire thing, and her relationship with Ruby, intimate relationship with Ruby. So as all of this was exposed, as this boy was rescued and his sister was rescued, who they hadn't even seen each other in a month, yet they were both inside the same home. That's how segregated they were, how just isolated they were from anyone and anything. So this really started bringing up very valuable questions that nobody had seemingly brought up before, especially regarding family vlogging channels and posting children's every move and every personal detail online for the world to see without their consent. There's even been laws now put into place that say children aren't content. If you're going to post your child and if you're making any type of money, you need to pay them, which, side note, a lot of gross influencers here in LA, because that law was passed in California, have fled California and moved to other states that have not started that law, which it's like, we all see what you're doing. You're not fooling anyone. But it really called into question the bigger issue of like kids aren't content, right? So anyway, like I said, that is just an extremely quick overview of this case. And trust me, it does not even do the complexities of this case any justice at all. So I highly recommend catching up on that deep dive and then coming back to this one later, possibly once you're fully up to speed in the case.